안녕 친구들, I hope you've been well. I know I'm in the same outfit because I decided I was going to film videos for episodes 1 through 5, especially since I just got done watching episode 5 this morning and I wanted to talk about it while it was fresh in my mind. What I will do is hopefully if I end up seeing episode 6 either on Saturday or Sunday, I'll film another quick video and then splice those together and so that it'll look like a complete review of 5 and 6. But anyway, I left off the review for episodes 3 and 4. I'm expressing to you my, I don't know how else to explain it, but my shock. Although, when you think about it, it's in character with the guy, right, who just seems to have no boundaries of what's right and wrong, and the world revolves around him and things like that, even though there are underlying goodness to his character. But anyway, so apparently the doctor has slept with his patient, although he claims that it was two adults consenting or what have you. And I wondered at the end of episode 4, and I will tell you it helped me as a viewer watching 4 and then immediately within a few hours being able to watch episode 5 as it became available. Otherwise, I think if I had to wait an entire week, constantly thinking, you jerk, how could you have done that? I may not have been quite so forgiving of the guy. Although, what he did is still, I don't know how else to explain it. You just don't do that as a doctor. But anyway, so we certainly see in episode 5 the relationship building a little bit more on equal level. You find out very quickly that she's embarrassed, yes. You know, Hongdo's embarrassed, but she was using Hiseo as a way of getting comfort and just working out her, tumultuous, emotions of realizing that Detective Chung is getting married and so on. And so it's really funny because she says, yeah, I wanted to apologize because I used you, and he's just stunned. Hiseo's like, what? A reaction completely unexpected of her, certainly given her psychological background and things like that. But we see clearly their relationship starting to slowly become equal terms or on equal footing. And I mean, there's still patient-doctor relationship, but I think definitely he's starting to care for her on a much more personal level. And what I find interesting about those two characters is we don't know exactly why Koiso can't seem to, treat patients without having a physical reaction to them. He starts hearing ringing in his ear, his vision starts to blur and things like that. And he very quickly found out in, episode 2, that when he touches her helmet or when she is physically nearby, none of those symptoms occur. And so, she's serving to be some sort of antidote for him. And of course, Hongdo's relationship with the grandfather is really heartwarming, and the misunderstanding about the poo smell, that was quite interesting. Anyway, for the most part, I think episode 5 has softened perhaps my shock over Koiso, with no qualms crossing over the doctor-patient line. But I'm liking it still so far despite that, and I think more than anything else, when Detective Chung finds out about that, the fact that they slept together, he's starting to get an inkling of the green-eyed monster. Now, whether that green-eyed monster is a response of perhaps his protective nature because he feels that Hongdo is someone that he needs to protect, kind of the way you would, a pet cat or a dog, or whether he really does have deeper feelings for her, because the way he approaches his, upcoming wedding, he seems like a bystander. He's not that interested. He's just allowing the adults to kind of decide who he marries and, when the wedding's going to be and things like that. I will say, though, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop in terms of what his family background is like, because certainly he's leaving little hints as to, you know, say for instance, he keeps referring to the elders, you know, whatever they decide, he's totally okay with. And he mentioned that he became a police officer and then later a detective against the wishes of his family and things like that. And so you have to wonder what exactly, you know, is his family background and, you know, all that good stuff. So anyway, episode 5, I'm just going to make it really short. I did like it. It redeemed itself, or at least in some respects, because I wasn't quite as shocked after episode 5, and I find it actually quite cute. Episode 6, I'm really looking forward to, which you will see hopefully spliced together in the second half of this video upload. Because if the previews are to be believed, Detective Chang is going to start to think more and more about Hongdo, certainly, and we see Hongdo and Hiseo developing certainly deeper, you know, bond with each other. And I love the fact that Hiseo asks her, "Will you date me, or will you, you know, go out with me?" And she says no, and then he's just kind of like, "I got rejected by someone like her." So I'm gonna love watching him get his comeuppance, certainly, and have her pull him down. Oh, one thing I didn't mention that I found quite interesting. At the beginning of episode 5, we find that Koiza has never been able to sleep the night through with his previous girlfriend. He would always have her, you know, stay, and then he would leave for some other place, whether it was his office or wherever. And for the first time, we see him in the morning with Hongdo, you know, and of course his, you know, ex-girlfriend, or the girlfriend that he's starting to break off with, find them there, and she's just like, "What? Was it only me that, you know, you never stayed the night, or is it just her special, you know, kind of thing?" But anyway, that's it for now. I will be back in different clothing, of course, for episode 6. So I feel like going like this and then having a new video get spliced in, right? But anyway, I hope you're doing well. I don't know when this video will upload. YouTube takes a while for my videos to upload, but hopefully this video will, you know, show up on your news feed fairly soon. So until then, I will, well, episode 6 is going to be right after, right? So that's it, episode 5, here we go.
안녕 친구들, we're back for episode 6 review, and we're going to make this pretty short. As always, my goal is to try to make these videos under 6 minutes. So I filmed episode 5, and I am back again with episode 6 review. My only thing is with episode 6, I'm just going to mention, what's the word I'm looking for? A short piece scene that was in the episode that I thought was noteworthy, or at least from my memory, because you have to remember I saw episode 6 last Saturday, and it was this really short scene kind of towards the second half, definitely in the second half of the episode, in which Tusu comes home and he finds his fiance, or what is now his ex-fiance, waiting for him late at night. And apparently she had been called into his, I guess, homestead, the traditional home that his family belongs to in the countryside. And what's interesting, we finally find out, remember how I alluded to kind of the mystery surrounding Tusu's family, my suspicion that he was from a very not so much a strict family, but that there was something with his family that was going to be significant. So anyway, she apparently had been called by the elders because Tusu comes from a very traditional Korean family in which there is the grandfather and, you know, a very strict hierarchy and observances of ancestral ceremonies and things like that. And so she was called as his future wife to come and take part in the ancestral ceremony worship preparations. And her comment to him, I think, she said something to the effect of, "I've never seen so much soybean paste," and all of the food that has to, you know, go into the preparation of the ancestral worship and things like that. And so Tusu, not realizing quite what, you know, she was getting at, says, "Oh, I'm really sorry. I should have, you know, tried to not have you go down there so early," or something, so that you wouldn't have to go down. And she finally spills it out and she says, you know, all of that work would have been bearable had you called me at the end of the day and just checked in to see how I was doing, to give me some words of comfort, just so that I know that my efforts were appreciated, certainly, and that you were thinking of me. And she basically pretty much hits it on the head when she says, I realize you're not interested, for the most part. And you know, we knew that Tusu was going through the motions of getting married because he felt like he needed to at the time, and his family certainly had said, hey, here's an eligible woman we'd like for you to consider. So anyway, that was, I thought, the most significant development of episode 6. And then as a result of the broken engagement, though, his grandfather, who I guess was frail in health, and that might have been one of the reasons why they were pushing him to get married, ends up collapsing from the shock of the broken engagement, and then consequently dies. And you know, for those of us in the modern world where we think, you know, what's the big deal about broken engagements and things like that, for a traditional family, broken engagements can be a big deal, especially if, you know, back in the day, and you have to remember, those of us who do remember back in the day, engagements were tantamount to saying, you know, you were getting married. And so engagements to some people implied marriage already. And so anyway, Tusu goes down to his hometown to, you know, observe the funeral, say his goodbyes and such, and then he comes up, and you know, it's definitely with a heavy heart because he knows he was instrumental in, you know, causing his grandfather's death to a certain extent. And as he's parking, he then thinks of Hongdo, which is such a great sign for the strength of his affections for her, and then he runs to go see Hongdo. And of course Hongdo has fallen asleep with the lights on, but just to stand outside of her place, you know, just knowing that she's near, Tusu certainly feels a sense of comfort, and he smiles for the first time since the funeral news. And then you see that he is making now efforts to certainly pursue her now that he knows exactly how he feels. And so, yeah, I will say, those of you who read my blog, First Impressions post, after the first episode, I wasn't that thrilled. I didn't know what to think, you know, but I thought, you know, I love Chae Gang-hee, and Chen Jung-myung is, you know, I liked, and you know, it seemed quirky enough that I thought, let's stick it out for episodes 2, 3. And then I think by 4, I was really entrenched in the episodes, committed to the series. But I will say episode 6 clinched it. I am in for the long haul, and as I'm filming this now, I've already seen episodes 7 and 8. So hang loose. I will hopefully be able to film my review of episodes 7 and 8 very shortly after I finish filming this. But overall, I will say episode 6, you know, the series is quirky, and it's a very sweet, I would say almost like a sleeper romantic comedy, so definitely worth watching if you are into just a sweet story with characters that you can really grow to care for. Certainly there are character flaws, and as of right now, I will say the story's not the most smoothly constructed, because sometimes you wonder, you know, are there inconsistencies within the character? Number one, Hongdo seems to have rapid you know, improvements, although, and I'm thinking specifically about episodes 7 and 8, because those are much more fresh in my mind. They do take attempts to explain that type of rapid, I guess, improvement, if you will, and things like that. But anyway, that was it for episode 6. I did like it. Episode 6 pretty much clinched it for me. I am in for the long haul. There will not be a mid-series dropout with this series. So anyway, for those of you watching, I hope that these little reviews correlate, I hope, with what you're reacting to or how you're feeling about the series. But yeah. Anyway, that's it. I know it sounds a little bit convoluted, but thanks for watching. Thanks for listening if you're watching these videos as you're checking email or doing household chores, which is honestly the way I would recommend you watch these videos. Just turn the video on, and then go about your everyday doing, you know, whatever, errands or whatnot. These are designed, I hope, to be just little informal chats about what I think about the videos, and certainly you're more than welcome to tell me what you think about the videos down in the comments. I hope you do. I certainly hear from my online friends what their views are on Heart to Heart. So anyway, that's it. Take care. See you next time. 안녕. And in Korean I'll say 다음 주에 봐. Bye.